The piece, please, for the public comment section.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As a reminder, public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Comments relative to any issues that are currently going through the public hearing process, matters that are in active litigation, political campaigning, or partisan politics will not be heard in this meeting. Speakers are to address the chairman, not each other or the audience, and are expected to conduct themselves in an appropriate manner. The use of abusive or profane language shall not be allowed. No debate or argument between speakers and/or members of the audience shall be permitted.
Thank you, Madam Rutledge. I will make a statement here this time. I will not tolerate any public declaration of my character, or I will not tolerate any political campaigning from any candidate that may step to the microphone to speak. That's my opinion today, and I will not tolerate the defamation of character. And defamation of character is an insult to my person and my family, and I think it's inappropriate for anyone to come up here and call people names in public. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and call Mr. Don Myers up.
Good morning, I'm Don Meyer. I want to thank you all for passing a resolution for Patriot Court this morning, but our work is only partly done. Right now through the county we're having a great progression of tractor trailers and semi-tractors parking in subdivisions. I'm not going to particularly hold the truckers responsible particularly for this. I think it's a great opportunity for our community. Again, I like to bring things to you that are. One would be to take someplace located like the old Maxell, have the truckers notified that that location might be available or someplace we can determine. They could pay a small fee. It would pay for someone to guard it and maybe some insurance coverage. I don't want us to be a trucking terminal, but there is a location over there to where if the people that are in our own little community area can park there, it could be restricted for local residents of Rockdale County. Because what we're having now, on the weekends, the truckers know they have a 6-hour clock. They can park their rigs, and then they can go away. And our code enforcement is gone on the weekends, so there's nobody to come back and re-tag them. And it's an unfortunate situation, but it's a situation that's growing. So I would appreciate if we could look at this as an opportunity, help the truckers, but by the same token, our neighborhoods are starting to get blighted with these tractors and trailers parking in or near. It's just not a very good situation for the quality of life in Rockdale. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Brian Jenkins, please.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I'm a little surprised in hearing this ordinance that was just passed. It seems to me that this is something that should have been done from day one in which Mr. Pridgeon was hired. I am really shocked that he's only been made amenable to serve the chairman. And I feel as though if that is the case, and certainly it was, then perhaps you yourself should have been paying his salary. Having said that, I'd like to suggest that you, Mr. Chairman, immediately move to hire Chief Morgan so that we can establish some continuity here in the fire department. This fire department has been dealing with a lot of different directions, and we have Chief Morgan, who's been there, who has certainly been recognized as someone who's capable. And so rather than go and search beyond the borders of Rockdale County, we have the man right here, and I would suggest we move swiftly to make that happen. Moreover, I also like to commend the Water Authority, those members who are on the board who moved to have Mr. Wicks removed. I find it interesting and somewhat hypocritical that if so, and I'm quoting you, Mr. Chairman, that the water is so good in Rockdale County. If the water is so good, I find it interesting that they fired the director. So that I find rather interesting. I also would like to venture to say that as I promised those who participated and who've been volunteering for years in the Rockdale County Community Closed Closet, that I would keep that at the forefront. I gave them my word, and my yes is my yes and my no is my no. And so I'm bringing that to the attention of the public again. The way that that was handled, in my view, was just horrible. To slip a letter under the door of the director instead of meeting with that person certainly does not recognize the style and the respect that Rockdale County has had over the years. That is certainly something that I would suggest that you rectify. Thank you so very much, and may God bless all three of you.
Thank you for your comments. Josie Dean, please.
Good morning. I'm Josie Dean. Chairman, I apologize to you if it came off wrong, what you say detrimental of character. Ever since you sat in that office, you've been doing that to me. But when you get it back to you, it don't sound good. But when you sit up there and you tell people on this camera that we come up here and we just act on all and we just keep messing with you and we keep messing with you, you've been dealing with our character a long time too. But if I had called you that name, I wouldn't have apologized to you. But due to the fact if you would have let that tape play, they would have heard the context of what I was saying. But I do apologize that you took it wrong and everybody else. But I would never call you that name unless I'm ready to fight you myself. So due to the fact you stop detrimenting our character and talking about us when we come up here. I've been up here 2 years, 3 years with you because I put you in there. And I'm going to still do that, whoever come after you. That's our right as being citizens. You don't took Channel 23 and you don't make Channel 3 the Richard Odom's thing. I took classes at cameras that when we 23 was supposed to be designed, when it was designed, that people who took that class should have their own shows. I did that in DeKalb County, sir. And I just come today by Wilson. Chief Wilson was a nice man. You know, however he decided to leave or whatever, but I don't believe he just picked up his family and came here and just say, all right, I'm just ready to leave. But when you're dealing with God, see, some people fake God. And some people ain't gonna take no job, no money. And I thank God for Wilson. He ain't took that money and gonna take his character and throw his character out the grass for somebody else, politician agenda. And we will be protesting the T-Splash. It will be the 10th, right outside, because Chairman Odoms is for it, and we're gonna be against it. So we got all the signs. Thanks to Garvin Haynes, we will be...
No political motions, please. No political agenda, ma'am.
Well, this is not an agenda.
Josie, no political...
You're in the agenda, but I'm a citizen.
No political agenda,
all right,
please.
Well, anyway, RCTT will be protesting what's on the agenda for us to vote for on the 31st. And with Don Myers, the unhappy taxpayers and voters,
thank you for your comments,
and John Evans.
Thank you for your comments.
That is not my 3 minutes.
Thank you for your comments.
That's not my 3 minutes.
Thank you for your comments.
But see, sir, you got to go. You can't stay here no more.
Thank you for your comments. Garvin Haynes, please.
Now that's my 3 minutes. You wonder why God calls you that name. I ain't called it. I called it.
Excuse me, Mr. Dean. You're getting out of order.
No, you're out of order.
Officer.
Good morning. Again, I'm behind Miss Josie. I've asked y'all not to do that to me. Point being, though, is I have some issues as important as hers that I would like to address. And I want to tell you, I'm Garvin Haynes. I have changed my mind on an issue. And a man who can't change his mind is not a mind that's able to think. And I'll tell you this much. With the number of fire chiefs we've had in the past 4 years, with our 911 director being, I'm just going to say forced out, I'm going to say I no longer think that I am in opposition to the sheriff running 911. That is such a crucial agency. It needs stable and constant supervision. And I have definitely changed my mind on that issue, and I would encourage y'all to rethink that issue yourself. Finally, as y'all all know, I do serve on the Water and Sewer Authority. And I am in question as to when the job will be posted for the new director. And I would like to know what the consequences will be for a Water and Sewer Authority member to have any type of communication with either one of the other two BOC members other than the chairman, given the new direction of the chairman. What will be my consequences when I do so? Because I can assure you, I have in the past, and I will continue to make certain that this full BOC is aware of water and sewer authority issues as well as the public in general. So what will be my punishment? Well, I also think it's inappropriate that the chair of the authority would be asked to start eliminating written communications to the director through email and only meet face-to-face, so there will be no trail.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments, Mr. Hayes. I have concerned citizen Dwight Wicks.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioners, I come to you this morning not as Director Dwight Wicks, but as citizen, taxpayer, homeowner, and more importantly, voter of Rockdale County. I was out of town the last time this body met, so I want to speak to you about contract number C, 2009-21. At your last meeting, upon passage of a resolution from the Water and Sewer Authority recommending that the above agreement or contract C 2009-21 not be renewed, this body voted 2-1 to accept that recommendation. Now, this is a contract, mind you, without basically any discussion. Now, I'm very concerned as a citizen why Director Wicks's contract was treated differently from other contracts that have been brought before this body. Now, I brought contracts Director Wicks has brought contracts that were presented to this body that involved far less impact upon human life. There's been more questions asked about the purchase of a dump truck than was asked about this particular contract. So lost in the discussion was the fact that this contract was a performance-based contract. And by performance-based, that means that there's got to be some information supplied for the performance, documenting what had happened during the performance of this contract. It's not something to be decided in a back room. The supporting reasons for this contract or voting against it should have been presented along with that recommendation. So I have two concerns to present to you and one recommendation this morning. My first concern is in regard to the BOC vote. Now, the vote was 2-1, with the chairman voting against the adoption of this recommendation. And I asked the question was, why was this contract not presented in work session? Why was it brought directly to voting session and acted upon without the benefit of discussion? This is a contract, mind you, not something that can just be brushed aside. You're talking about Director Wicks and his family's future. And we have a vote on that without even the director being present. Of course, he's not present now because this is Citizen Wicks. And Citizen Wicks and his wife represent two independent voters. Secondly, what was the backup that was provided by the Water and Sewer Authority to support this agreement? I saw none. We haven't heard any. So is it a recommendation that you all are acting on without any support? I mean, what it implied is that Director Wicks was not doing his job. So that has got to be acted upon.
Thank you for your comments. That's 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll finish at the next session.
3 minutes. Next we have Ms. Sarah Wynn, please.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
I am Sarah Williams, and my concern is about moving the main entrance from 155 Panola Road into our community. The proposed entrance of Panola Road Park is about 500 feet from my front door. It was 500 feet from my front door. It would create a vehicle hazard for me, because when backing out or coming out of my driveway, it's a curve. I'm unable to see around that curve. It's going to be an impact. Not only that, with all that traffic coming into my community. Now, I'm not against the park, but the entrance to the park, that is my concern. Why are they moving the entrance from 155 now to or into our community within 500 feet from my door? If it's the accident, the last 14 years, it has been 3 accidents, 1 fatal. And the fatal accident was due to an individual, a deer running into a car. The other accident involved 2 vehicles, and another one was a single vehicle. That was in the last 14 years, unless it has not been updated. So the only reason I knew about the movement of the entrance was that I spoke to the people that was during the survey, and they informed me. I went round to my neighborhood. All the people in the neighborhood was not aware of this being done. I talked to a Judge Smith by coincidence by going to the park on last Wednesday, and that was the Hard Labor Creek Park, and he said that he would voice my concern, and he did talk to Mr. Banks, and this is the only knowledge that we had that they was doing this. Mr. Banks sent me an email. No one else knew anything about it. And that was on the 21st.
Can we keep this?
21st of June.
Can we keep this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's from the Department of Natural Resources. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Carrie Bond, please.
Thank you.
Mighty bright, Mr. Bond. Mighty bright.
Good.
Commissioners, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to make a public comment on a very important subject to all the citizens of Rockdale County. That's our sewer tunnel and our underground injection control UIC permit. On behalf of the citizens of Rockdale County and the members of NOCRAP, that's the newly organized citizens requesting aquifer protection, please let me express our appreciation for the support that you all have shown in protecting our drinking waters, wells, aquifers, and our streams. In particular, your support has been expressed in forms of resolutions, letters to the courts, that's federal courts, courts of appeals, Georgia's EPD, U.S. EPA, and the U.S. Department of Justice in matters dealing with conflicting interpretations of the underground injection control permits. DeKalb County had proposed a tunnel in 2008 in their capital improvement plan that would have been somewhere around 5 miles long, 25 feet, 28 feet in diameter, and 300 to 500 feet underground. Our concern was if they drilled, and it's going to be a bored tunnel, that they could crack aquifer around Little Mountain. Y'all were very supportive of all of our efforts to stop this and say if you're going to build a tunnel, make sure that it's properly permitted. The DeKalb County Water and Sewer, the DeKalb County Department of Water still has in its capital improvement plan this tunnel. They said that they're not going to build it at the present time. No one can really be assured that they are not going to do it. What we're saying is if you build it, properly permit it. The City of Atlanta at the present time is before Judge Thrash again in its court. Judge Thrash originally had jurisdiction of the City of Atlanta's sewer improvement plans in 1968. And they're asking for a 13-year extension on part of that sewer improvement plan. This affords one more opportunity to get into the public record our concerns about UIC permits and how they should be applied. NOCRAP is going to employ Mr. Hal Wright, an Atlanta attorney who's been actively involved in this issue since 2008. The cost is about $10,000. NOCRAP has never asked for any county funds or governmental funds in its efforts in the past. Because of the size of this litigation, the legal fee, we're asking that the county consider a $5,000 payment in helping to support the efforts to protect the waters, streams, and wells in Rockdale County. Mr. Wright's scope of work would be to prepare and submit a comment. Is that me clicking? Are you clicking?
Yes.
That's you.
I'll have to let you read the rest of it. But we have a scope of work that we would like for him to perform. We will submit this to the proper inline water, sewer as they meet. Y'all were the first vehicle that came by to talk to. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Carol, is that Nayland, please?
Yes, sir.
Morning. My
Morning.
name is Carol Nayland. I have a question before I start. Would you mind taking this?
We'll be glad to.
I know it's 3 minutes, but do I get a 5-second warning or a 10-second warning? No? Okay. Well, my name is Carol Nayland. I'm here today to speak for the abused dogs in Rockdale County, what many call yard dogs. Because a number of the ordinances have not been enforced, many are neglected and often abused. Section 18.8B says you have to provide your animal with food, clean water, and living conditions, shelter, veterinary care, and humane treatment. 18.8F says the animal whose circumstances are in question can be taken in for vet care on the spot and the owner fined. 18.9.3 says that no dog may be attached to a running line or trolley system for more than 12 hours in a 24-hour period. These ordinances are not being followed by C.J. Baker, and the Rockdale County Board of Directors has shown little or no interest in correcting this travesty. Baker's immediate superiors, David Smith, I have called, sent letters over and over with no real results. April 2010, I contacted Rockdale County's animal control agencies to report 2 dogs chained to a tree at 1887 McCollum Road. The officer could have found the owner and had the dogs taken in for a checkup right then, but he gave him 2 weeks to remedy the situation. It was about 90 degrees. The owner did attach the dogs to a line at the back of the house, but was still in error. They were outside for almost a full 24 hours a day, a clear disregard for the ordinances and the dog's safety. After the initial plea that I sent to Mr. Baker, I sent letters to the ones elected to be over him, including one to the head of Parks and Recreation. Since the weather here was only getting hotter, I continued to check on the dogs. The little Shih Tzu was on a trolley with a very heavy chain. Ordinance 18.9.5 says tethers and cables shall not weigh more than 5% of the body weight of the dogs tethered. August 2010, I sent Mr. Baker another letter begging him to reconsider his decision not to take the dogs to the vet. They were no longer chained, but they were tethered more than 12 hours and were not receiving veterinary care or humane treatment. I finally got a letter from Mr. Baker saying the dogs had been surrendered to animal control. One of the dogs was adopted. I never heard about the other. I can only assume it died or was euthanized because of heartworms. Preventive care is an absolute must, as heartworms in dogs generally cause a slow and painful death. As that we know that mosquitoes are rampant. This falls under vet care to prevent suffering. About a month ago, I found 3 chow mixes kept in a yard 24/7. I called Mr. Baker. He only ordered the owner to groom the dogs. Complete disregard for the ordinance as well as the dog's well-being. After this meeting, I intend to report this case and others, and will continue to be vigilant. If nothing is done, I will be back. Mr. Baker needs to be replaced. I am citing him with lack of enforcement and, even more importantly, lack of compassion for one of God's greatest gifts, animals. Had an ethics committee been in place, none of this would have been necessary. I had only 3 minutes to speak for the full story. Please email me at cnailen@comcast.net with your mailing address. Also see the handout for the ordinances. Again, my name is Carol Nayland, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Nayland. Tanya Martino, please, is that correct?
Okay, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Tanya Martino, the president of the Metro Atlanta chapter for Voorhees College. The college is located in Denmark, South Carolina. The Metro Atlanta Alumni Chapter for Voorhees College is excited about 2 upcoming scholarship fundraising events. An Afternoon of Jazz with Tony Bird and Walk Up Jazz on July 15th, and our annual scholarship luncheon September 29th, 2012. Both scholarship fundraisers are held to raise money to support Metro Atlanta students attending or that want to attend Voorhees College. I guess you're wondering, what does this have to do with Rockdale County? Well, 20 alum of Voorhees College and members of the Metro Atlanta chapter for Voorhees College are residents of Rockdale County. 5 students attending Voorhees College are former students of the Rockdale County Public Schools. One student, Ricky Harrod, a former student of Open Campus, just made Dean's List at Voorhees College. This year at the scholarship luncheon, we will honor Deborah Anderson, a resident of Rockdale County and a former teacher of Rockdale County Public Schools. I'm here today to make you aware that Voorhees College is becoming a staple of your community, and if you know of any students that want an opportunity to attend a college with rich history, please let the chapter know by contacting me at 678-559-6969. Once again, 678-559-6969, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
At this time, we have Jackie Johnson Dickerson, please. Jacqueline.
Good morning, Chairman Oden, commissioners, and audience. You know, the times are changing. Sitting in the back row, I observed and I listened. First, I heard Sheriff Wigington talk about how he was 15 before he got air conditioning. I said, that sounds familiar. I've heard people say that many times. We all agree. We all have the same thoughts, the same ideas. I say all that to say that this meeting was indeed enjoyable. There was not a lot of conflict, just a little, just to keep it a little bit interesting. But the other thing is, what I noted was that we all, when that young man came up today, Mr. Man, we all smiled. We all liked that. All of us, all residents have an interest and a stake in education for our children. So when Mr. Mann came up, we smiled. When Crystal Brockington and the other young man, Jonathan, we smiled. We were so happy about that. Now, in order to keep smiling, it is up to us to ensure that the schools have the necessary materials to assist our children who are all brilliant and who are all deserving of a quality education. How do we get that quality education? We get that education by making sure that we do the right thing. And the right thing is to register to vote no later than July 2nd so we can vote on July 31st. To be active and involved in our community, just as the gentleman was talking about the water, and the other lady, I'm not an animal lover, but who talked about the safety of animals. We all have to do our part. And how do we do our part? We do our part by being productive and not destructive. When we give comments, let it be constructive criticism, please. We all gain by that. We gain nothing by destructive criticism. And remember, the times are changing.
Thank you for your comments. Have Lori Todd, please.
Good morning.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I am here today to speak in reference to animal care and control. This has been the third year that I have had the privilege of attending the Animal Rescue Foundation in Alpharetta with C.G. Baker and his co-workers. The first year we adopted out 17 animals. I am so glad to say that last year it was 18 or 19. This year, 21 animals found rescue groups or lifelong homes. This is the first year that the majority of them went already spayed or neutered. And I think these efforts need to be applauded. This was done on a Sunday when we like to go to church and spend time with our family. Time was taken away. He has also implemented a spay-neuter clinic at Rockdale County Animal Care and Control. And I think this is an awesome thing to offer the low cost for those that are adopted there and then out into the community. It prevents unwanted litters. It saves the lives of our four-legged friends that have no voice or say-so in the situation. And ultimately, it saves taxpayers money by keeping some of these animals off the streets. I think it's time that C.G. Baker and Rockdale County Animal Care and Control get some well-deserved positive recognition. I applaud them for their efforts this June, and I look forward to being part of that next year and continuing to work with them on behalf of the community and especially on behalf of our babies, our four-legged friends. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your comments. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'll entertain board comments, please. Commissioner Van Ness.